All right, you're on with Phil. Go ahead, Steve.
Mr. Wonderful Phil Davis. It's Steve Jewin again from MMA Mania. Always a pleasure to talk to you. How are you doing today?
Doing great, man. How are you?
I'm excellent. I'm ready for this huge fight you've got coming up here in Bellator in Uncasville, Connecticut. But first, I got to ask, why King Karl Albrechtsen? Why this fighter for this fight?
Why not? I think whenever there's new people to the organization, I think they always try to give them a nice welcome, a warm welcoming, and so I think this is the perfect fight for him coming in.
Well, it's probably the perfect fight for him, but it doesn't necessarily seem like a fight that gets you back to the world title, and I know that's got to be on your mind.
Oh, absolutely. But the truth of the matter is, every W is a vote for the title.
Can't argue with that logic, and there is a common opponent between Albrechtsen and you and Vadim Nemkov, and he actually has a win over Nemkov, so I wonder if that factors into your thinking at all.
That could work in my favor, but MMA math is not it's not linear. So it's not 1 plus 1 isn't always 2, but styles make matchups, and I'm just down to mix it up with everybody.
All right. Well, since I'm already on the subject of Nemkov, we'll throw away MMA math and just ask you about his last fight, because he looked really good with Rafael Cavallo.
Yeah. So I have it on the app. I didn't get a chance to watch it yet, but I saw the highlights. I expected, it's extremely tough moving up from 185 to 205. It's a big jump, big guys. I'm interested to see how he looked in the grappling before he got submitted, and what the stand-up exchanges look like. But he's a tough cat, and he's a great talent. So I expect him to do well.
It looks like King Karl has a good record and a good reputation as well at 9-2, with a lot of experience in rising fighting. As I noted, he had that fight with Vadim Nemkov, and he looks like he matches up size-wise well for you too at 6'2".
Yeah. He's all around tough fighter.
So, did you know he was coming into Bellator and you said, I want him, or did somebody at Bellator like Rich Chow propose him to you?
No, I actually had no idea he was coming to Bellator, but I know Bellator is committed to putting on great fights and getting some of the best fighters all over the world. So it doesn't surprise me that he's one of the people who they had in mind.
And I'm also not surprised that two Penn State wrestlers have fights on the main card here on the same Bellator 231. We've got Ed Ruth fighting Jason Jackson as well, so that's got to be fun for both of you.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, always good when we get to share the stage.
Did you have any thoughts when you saw Ed Ruth's fight with Neiman Gracie? Like any mistakes that you would have pointed out to him in that fight that he could have done different?
Yeah, but he was in like 3 triangles, but it's not a matter of what things did you see he could have done better. It really, what makes him great is that he doesn't follow like a specific plan or a dedicated mold. So he's very, very unpredictable, and that's what makes him great. So obviously there's things you want to avoid and positions that you want to improve on, but as a whole, I think he's got to learn how to shape. It's artwork at the end of the day. He's got to take what he wants to do in his mind's eye and make it come to life inside the cage. So and that is what I know he can do.
And I feel like he did do that with Kichi Kunimoto. He came out there with a very experienced veteran and really put it on him in that fight.
Right.
Which, that's kind of what King Karl is going to be looking to do to you as well. He's looking at you like, wow, that's a very seasoned veteran I'm going up against. That would be a huge upset for me if I beat him.
Absolutely. It's times like this that I sit back and I remember what it's like to be a younger fighter coming up, and how hard I want to push myself to make sure that I'm prepared for him trying to make a name for himself on the big stage.
So in pushing yourself for this fight, what have you done? What have you worked on the most?
Really, it's just, for me, it's just fine tuning, making sure that I can't lose the positions that I do best in. So it's making sure that I improve all of my positions and close up any holes and really get a faster start. That's something I've been working on.
It seems like you've been doing that pretty well in your Bellator fights of late, so I'm not too worried about you getting a fast start, but I am worried about Ryan Bader being tied up with both the heavyweight and the light heavyweight title. I know you talked about possibly rematching Nemkov to get to him, but Bader's got to get free first to have a light heavyweight title defense.
Right. I mean, there's not much I can do about that, but, beat somebody else and hopefully Bader will fight the next guy in line.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that guy is Vadim then, or do you think you would get to Vadim before he gets to Bader?
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. Truthfully, it's actually not even my decision. I would love for it to be myself versus Vadim first, but it's already been he's been absent without a title defense for quite some time, so I wouldn't be opposed either way.
Right, I understand that. Sounds like there's some heavy training going on in the background behind you right now.
Oh, there's heavy training going on 24/7.
No doubt. I'm sure that's absolutely correct. What are you doing to take time away to relax when you're not in there 24/7? You got to get a little time off somewhere.
Yeah, I occasionally like to eat, and then I'll sleep, and then I'll get right back to training.
Eat, sleep, train. Is that really all you do? You can't even get away to see a movie like The Joker or something?
That's on my things to do list, but I haven't seen it yet.
I won't give you any spoilers, but it's a pretty violent flick, more so than I thought it would be.
Oh, I don't think you could do any worse than the internet. The internet ruins everything.
That's true. You can find anything on the internet. I'm not denying that. So it probably doesn't compare, but
I wasn't.
Go ahead.
I wasn't even looking for the spoilers, and everybody's already like, you mean this is the whole origin story of the Joker? He just got beat up as a kid? Da-da-da-da. I'm like, oh, jeez.
Well, I keep telling people that's just one interpretation. In comic books, they revamp it, they relaunch it, they redo it. So that's just one version of many versions.
Sure.
I mean, that's in a way, that's kind of like MMA fighting, because every time you go out, you reinvent yourself and become a better version of what you were.
Oh, that is a beautiful segue.
I'm trying, Phil. I'm trying.
I like how you brought that back. That was sneaky. I didn't see it coming.
See, no, I learned from the master, because every time I interview you, you're the one that's always got the good segue. So I'm just learning from the master here.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. So
that was me. Don't get mad if you hear that somewhere else.
I won't. Use it, please, by all means. So speaking of which, since you're the master of the lexicon with the gift of gab, what do you plan to say after you get this win over King Karl? Have you thought about it?
Not yet. I haven't scripted that one out yet, but we definitely got to put some pressure on Bader to defend that belt. And I also have a fight to avenge against King Karl. Against Nemkov. So we shall see.
Yeah, definitely lots of options. And one thing that I'm noticing more and more of late is that fighters seem to be finally getting the message to have a name, and in some cases they even have a name and a date and a place that they want to fight somebody. So it's like finally fighters are learning to promote who they want to fight next.
Yes. I mean, it's a necessary thing. You got to know exactly who you want when you want it, and then once it's out there, the internet will never let it go. So
That's the beauty of it. I mean, we talk about all the negatives of the internet, but the positives is once you promote a fight, once you mention you want to fight somebody, people start fantasizing about that fight and they want to see it.
Exactly.
So do you think it's a kind of
That is it.
a negative then when people just say, "Oh, I'm happy to be here. I'll fight anyone," or is that just inexperience that they haven't been in that position to know they should call somebody out?
Well, it could be a few things. I mean, it could be inexperience. But a lot of times it can be as simple as, it's easier for someone to say, I want you to fight this person, and for you to get up for it versus asking for that fight. It kind of, it's a pressure thing. Maybe they want someone else to put the pressure on them by, making the fight for them.
I hadn't actually thought of it that way, but that's a good analysis, that actually it's easier if somebody else puts you in that position and then you have to get ready for it versus you putting the pressure on yourself by picking someone.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well said, Phil. I appreciate that. And I want to get some thoughts from your thoughts on this being a super weekend in Connecticut with 2 back-to-back cards with 2 big main events.
Man, Coker's been he's been rolling nothing but fours, man. When I'm on the craps table, I'm on a hard 4, and he's been rolling nothing but 4s. So he's been doing great, and I think this is going to be another great weekend. Another great weekend of MMA, and another great weekend for Bellator.
Which of these rematches are you looking forward to more? The Frank Mir-Roy Nelson fight on your card, or the next night with Lima and McDonald?
That's a loaded question. I'm supposed to say, Mir Nelson because I'm on that card and I want to make sure everybody tunes in. But gosh darn it, tune in both nights because Lima McDonald, God man, I love Rory, man. He's one of my favorites. Has been for a very long time. Man, Lima's he's on one. He just has this warpath and you can feel it. So that's going to be quite the matchup.
Yeah. And honestly, if I'm not pulling any punches here, I think that's the more interesting fight because, like you said, Lima's been on that warpath, but I think McDonald has some doubters now after that fight that he went out and had where it went to a 5-round draw. So I think he's got something to prove by going in there and winning decisively for the second time.
You said McDonald had some doubters after that fight?
Yeah, because a lot of people think John Fitch beat him.
Versus Fitch, that's right. No one understands how tough of a guy John Fitch is to fight. He's just, he doesn't fully get the credit he deserves. He's incredibly tough to fight, and if fighting John Fitch is what makes you doubt somebody, let me tell you, you don't know John Fitch. Like, you just don't. Like, he's seasoned. So, no, I don't think that changes my my view of him, at least. I think he's still aces.
Well, I don't know if it was so much the fight itself, but maybe the post-fight interview where he said he didn't have the heart to put a man through pain. I think that was what really had people wondering if McDonald really wanted to be a fighter anymore.
Right. And that's the, in the moment, you can, I think he was just, he had a lot going through his mind, understandably, and he was emotional. But I don't know. He seems to be. He's doing all right now.
Yeah, his
last fight he looked all right.
Yeah, I thought he came back well in that last fight, and I think he's ready for this main event. So I think you're ready for your fight with King Karl too. So if you want to give me any closing plugs or promos, go right ahead.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely want to thank all my sponsors. Affliction Clothing Brand, American Ethanol, Oh, goodness, I'm having one of those mornings. It's like I get hit in the head for a living or something, you know? Lactigo and that's it. Monster Energy. Golly. Thank you.
No problem, Phil. Thank you so much.
I was like, what? I know there's a huge one I'm missing. Monster Energy, yes. Don't forget to drink your Monster Energy, kids.
Yeah.
Mix it in your cereal.
Well, that'll get, if you want to get to a crazy morning, that'll be a crazy morning, but couldn't be any worse than what I did in college. So.
Pretty much, yeah. That's pretty much how you get to college.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Phil, thank you so much for the time today, and have a great fight at Bellator in August, Phil.
All right. Thank you.
No problem. And thank you, Dan, as well.